Taco Fall, the 7'6" center from Senegal, wearing number 24. It'd be hard to miss for Central Florida. Take a look at the Central Florida Knights and how they'll go with their starting five. And of course, they're missing B.J. Taylor, a young man, a guard averaging 17 points a game a year ago. He is out 4 to 6 weeks with a foot injury. Right away, a foul against Alabama. That'll go against John Petty. And that'll be a shooting foul and send Cesar de Jesus to the free throw line.
And Alabama has to defend Central Florida without fouling. Central Florida's averaging 27 free throw attempts per game. They got to find a way to guard without fouling and to negate the big fella fall in the interior.
De Jesus, the 6'2" redshirt freshman from Jersey City, New Jersey, averaging just under 10 points a game.
Dave, he played well in the Advocare opener against Nebraska. Was 6 for 10 from the field, 15 points, but struggled in the final 2 games against West Virginia and St. John's.
So gets 1 out of 2 there. Alabama's starting lineup. Daniel Giddens had been in the starting lineup, but this afternoon Riley Norris will get the start. Riley, a veteran player, a senior from Albertville, Alabama, wears number 1 for the Tide.
Alabama is so good off the dribble. Central Florida has to keep this team out of the lane.
Ingram back to Sexton. Ingram at the elbow. Perfect.
Well, you love the pull-up game against Taco Fall. I'm not sure if you can get all the way to the rim. So Alabama's middle game is important offensively today.
Avery Johnson talking today at shoot-around, saying if we're not going to take it to the basket, we got to be able to hit some shots. But if we're going to get in the lane, we need to attack Taco Fall, try to get him some foul trouble. Little runner off the mark. Rebound to Riley Norris. He said the little floater, no, that stuff doesn't work. You got to take it right at the big fella.
No question. Take it at his chin.
UCF having trouble putting the ball in the basket this year, averaging 63 points a game. Defensively, very stout. They were a year ago as they made a run to the Final Four of the NIT tournament. Fantastic year for Johnny Dawkins' bunch in his first year at Central Florida. Alabama was bounced in the first round of the NIT a year ago by Richmond. Oh, big screen by Fall. Shot clock down to 7. Allen had nowhere to go, gives it up to Mummett, and he knocks it home.
And that's a perfect possession for UCF because they want to go deep into the clock. They want this game in the 60s, Dave. Looks like Petty, yeah.
He's been bothered by an ankle, twisted it against Minnesota. Only played 3 minutes in the second half in their come from behind win against Louisiana Tech a few nights ago.
And he's one of the reasons that Alabama's three-point shooting has been so good, 40%. Let's see if we see him right now. His left foot, you saw it buckle just a little right there.
Well, he went right into the tunnel. And checking in for him is another freshman, Herbert Jones, out of Greensboro, Alabama. Here's Ingram on the baseline. Kicks it out to Norris. Norris travels with it.
And that's a good call by Carl Hess. You know what? Taco Fall, he'll block a lot of shots, but boy, he changes your mindset when you're in the lane.
You know, I was just going to, if you're anywhere around the paint, as soon as you get it, I've got to think your first thought is, where's the big guy, right?
Yeah, and he's hard to miss sometimes. He's so big.
Fall sets a screen, will slide down to the post. Stolen away by Dante Hall, who's having a heck of a junior season.
And I love the post defense. Play defense before the ball gets in there, and Hall did.
Riley Norris for 3 out of the corner.
Avery loves Riley Norris. He's their hard hat guy, gets all the dirty thing. Takes charges, gets big rebounds, and as we saw, can make threes.
Here's Allen. Off to A.J. Davis. And a foul underneath against Central Florida. Let's see who picks that up.
I think it was Taco Fall.
It was Taco. He'll pick it up. There's Avery Johnson now in his 3rd season as Alabama's head coach. He and Johnny Dawkins, by the way, actually crossed over in the NBA for a few years. Avery, an 88 graduate of Southern, and Johnny Dawkins, a 86 graduate of Duke, of course, a National Player of the Year. Avery Johnson, 2-time SWAC Player of the Year.
In seeing these guys, I'm telling you, no doubt in my mind, they could lace up and go out there right now and be the 2 best players out there.
I was here a few weeks ago, and before shoot around, Avery Johnson had about 30 minutes of just open gym shooting around, burying jump shots from all over the place.
You know what, Dave? This business is all about credibility when you're coaching. Credibility with your administration, with your fan base, and then most importantly with your players. Both of these coaches have that.
To Jesus, little stutter step into the lane, lost the handle. Jones comes out of there with it to lead the break. Finds Norris. Riley taking it inside. And with no Taco Fall in there, Alabama attacking the rim, and Dante Hall able to get the bucket and the foul. He'll step to the free throw line.
Well, what happens when there's dribble penetration, the help defender comes over, frees up Dante Hall to go to the offensive glass. There's Norris coming in. There's the shot. Well, Dante Hall doing a tremendous job on the board this year, averaging 7 rebounds a game.
So Hall converts. Boy, talking to Avery about Dante, and he says, you know, our plan was it was kind of a 3-year plan to get him as a starter eventually in his junior year. He came here weighing 285 pounds. He's down to 232. He's worked on his game, and here he is.
Well, give the kid a lot of credit. I mean, you could give guys direction, what you need them to do, whether it's losing weight, losing body fat. He just took that and ran with it, did everything the coaching staff wanted him to do.
Well, Central Florida having a tough time getting in their offense.
Alabama's pressure defense pushing them way out on the floor.
Allen. 18-footer no good. Rebound to Hall. We'll get it off to Jones. Here's Sexton. Collins, baseline, hangs in the air, drew the foul. We'll have some free throws coming up. Well, it is amazing the 2 or 3 possessions without Fall on the floor. Alabama attack mode now.
Absolutely.
Run what he wants to run.
You know what, as a coach, you're always asking yourself, what does our team need right now? And you're adjusting without those guys in there. And I talked to one of the assistants from Central Florida. Taco Fall never practiced in the preseason and missed the first 2 games, so they're trying to acclimate him to the lineup, get the other guys used to playing with him offensively. Defensively, they're fine, but boy, oh boy, it's a big adjustment. Florida, well, I'm thinking Central Florida, right. But I'll tell you what, this Alabama crowd went crazy when Alabama was the 4 seed.
Well, by the way, 23, John Petty back on the floor. We saw him leave with a twisted ankle. Looks like they retaped it. See how he goes. Inside to Taco Fall. Traveling violation against the Knights.
And that's the next challenge for Taco Fall. Like we saw Riley Norris go down and double him. So I think what Taco needs to do is catch the ball a little deeper. That way you can put the shot up before the double team arrives.
For Taco, only his 5th year of basketball. Still a lot to learn for the big fella, the man they call Big Taco. By the way, Alabama on an 8-0 run the last minute 57. They forced Central Florida into 4 turnovers here in the last couple of minutes. Here's Sexton. Giddens turns on Taco, and that won't go. Rebound yanked out of there by McSpadden.
And one of the things Taco Fall does so well defensively, he contests shots. He makes you miss, doesn't hope you miss.
McSpadden, redshirt sophomore out of Winter Haven, Florida, at the top of this offense. They'll get it inside to Taco Fall. There's some help from Jones to knock it away. But then Jones trying to give it right back, and he does. Little run out. Dayon Griffin can't get it to go. Boy, Sexton can really fly with the basketball.
He's low to the ground, fast. His dribble was low.
Nice move from Daniel Giddens, the 6'11" sophomore transfer from Ohio State.
Well, I like the way he took the ball to the other side. There's the dribble penetration. See, Taco comes over, uses the rim as a protector, and Giddens with the left hand. Now that's was that foul on Taco, Dave?
Yeah, that's his
so
second.
That's his second. you know what? He's still playing his way into shape. And I think when you're not there completely physically, then you have a propensity to draw some or cause some other fouls. And that's exactly what happened with him.
Boy, Giddens missed everything. Wide right.
I don't even think it hit the rim, did it?
No. Giddens comes down, gets a block shot on the other end.
Well, you're not going to hit the rim on this end either if you're Giddens, he's saying. Yeah, to transfer him from Ohio State and, you know, played at Oak Hill Academy for Steve Smith. Good get for Avery Johnson at Alabama.
Another block shot underneath. Catch and shoot for Griffin. He buries the three. It had been a while since Central Florida had scored. See if that doesn't get the rim open. Offensive foul against Alabama. Will go the other way with it. Hey, today at 4 o'clock Eastern Time, 1 o'clock Pacific on ESPN, it's the 16th annual Jimmy V Women's Classic presented by Corona. Get a chance to see the #1 ranked women's team in America, UConn, taking on 3rd ranked Notre Dame at the XL Center in Hartford. Catch it streaming live on the ESPN app as well. Huskies have played in and won the Jimmy V Women's Classic 6 years in a row. Here, Central Florida on a little run out. Allen right down the lane, lost his dribble for a moment, and count the basket. Rokas Ulvidas, the transfer from Texas Tech, will step to the line.
I think right now, when you're looking at Alabama, same thing on the other end for Central Florida. You have to keep the ball in front of you. The hardest thing to do in our game today, Dave, is guard the ball one-on-one.
6'11", 235 for Ulvidas. And he can't convert.
Especially without Taco in there right now, Central Florida. Keep the basketball in front of you. We don't have our rim protector in there.
Petty can't get the three to go. He had a game earlier this year, set the Alabama record with 10 threes in a game.
10 for 13 from threes in that one against A&M, Alabama A&M, that is.
Avery Johnson Jr. on the floor now for the Crimson Tide. He wears number 5. McSpadden off to Herbert Jones. Now Johnson in the corner. Avery, there's a floater, got it to go.
Boy, all those guards shooting that floater now. It's a tough shot to make. If you're going to shoot that, you better put a lot of time in. A lot of sweat inventory with respect to the floater shot.
Allen kicks it back out to McSpadden, and his layup is a little bit short. He wanted a foul. Dazon Ingram back the other way, and there's some contact, no whistle.
But see, Dave, that's what the Euro step does for you. It gets you to get around that charged defender right there.
So do you like the Euro step?
I do. I really do. I'm not a big fan of the floater, but I like the Euro. Guys are shooting floaters in a lane over 5'10" guys, when you should just go 1-2 step pull up.
Griffin, catch, shoot, got it. Leon Griffin came in 23% from behind the arc, but good looking stroke. 4-point Alabama lead. Ingram, Giddens just inside the free throw line. That won't go, and rebound yanked out of there by Miles Douglas.
And that's a good shot for Daniel Giddens, that little 7-foot pull up right there. When you shoot it, go get it though. Be an offensive rebounder as well.
There's Douglas. Alabama again forcing Central Florida to shoot with just a few seconds left on the shot clock. There's 3, 2. They're gonna have to get the shot off, and they do just in time. And Jones will grab the rebound. Bounce pass underneath, and the jam by Petty. Couple of freshmen on display on that fast break.
Well, you have 4 guards out there for Alabama. That's Alabama basketball right there, Dave. In transition, running the floor hard and wide.
McSpadden working on Petty, gets right by him, and the layup is good.
That's 3 times McSpadden got to the lane, finally finished one of those.
Good ball movement. Can Jones convert? Not this time, and knocked out of bounds. That will get us to a timeout. Alabama up 4.
Wow, when you're playing the Crimson Tide, your transition defense had better be good, because not even allowing 60 points a game, but struggling from behind the 3-point line. They go 6 for 27 and a loss to Kansas, and in their last 3 games, Syracuse being outscored behind the 3-point line 102-39.
Oh, that is a big number.
Yeah, Boeheim got to get those guys shooting straight.
UCF trailing by 4. They've kind of hung in here. Hadn't been real pretty offensively for the Knights, but they've just found a way. They've kind of also slowed Alabama down a little bit on a few trips.
They did, and Alabama for the first time today goes 2-3 zone.
No attention to the shot clock. Going to give it back to Alabama.
UCF wants to go deep in the shot clock, but not that deep. As we know, they want this team, UCF, to be in this game to be in the 60s, high 50s, 60s. If Alabama scores 70, 80 points, UCF has no chance of winning.
Alabama averaging 83 points a game. They averaged 68 points a game last year. This is a completely different makeup for the Crimson Tide here in the 2017-18 campaign. Here's Ingram.
Little sidearm to get it out of there.
Deep 3 from Petty, that won't go.
On the miss, Alabama goes back to their man-to-man defense.
Douglas. That didn't drop for him. Reese, the rebound. Alex getting his first work, a 6'9" freshman out of Pelham, Georgia. Galen Smith also on the floor for the first time this afternoon for Alabama, working underneath. Will belong to the Crimson Tide with 19 on the shot clock.
And when you struggle to score the ball, you obviously have to get easy baskets. You get easy baskets with the fast break, which we've seen Alabama do a couple times. But down on the other end, UCF has to do a better job on the offensive glass.
Ingram. Boy, he is so good at drawing contact. He'll hit the free throw line.
He really is. All 3 of these guards for Alabama can really put it on the floor and get to the basket. Sexton, Ingram, John Petty, we know, 3-point shooter, but he could go off the bounce as well.
Ingram on pace for over 150 free throw attempts this year.
Boy, he puts foul pressure on you. He is a hard, strong driver. I'll tell you, you talk to the staff, the thing that they said has really helped this team is the guy at the foul line right now, he has excellent chemistry with the freshman. You know, there could have been some resentment where Sexton comes in and Avery gives Sexton the basketball as the point guard, but Dazon Ingram has been a terrific, terrific teammate. You got to remember, he started all 34 games last year.
Got that one to drop. Alabama as a team at the free throw line just 63% this year. That is 329th out of 351 in Division I basketball. But they are 5 of 6 this afternoon.
And they were great at the end of the game the other night. They made 13 straight free throws against Louisiana Tech.
To get him to 63%.
To get him there.
Boy, a nice little crossover. Big move. Count the basket for Alex Reese.
Boy, this guy's a stretch 4-man and can handle like this right here. Wonderful crossover dribble. You know what I love about that, Dave? How he played off 2 feet. Watch this, 2-foot power, used the backboard as a cushion.
So let me ask you this. Why, when you say you like how he played off 2 feet, why not a one-hop jump? And I mean, what's the difference?
Because a lot of times when you jump off 1 foot, sometimes you're floating. You're more of a proclivity to create a charge. You play off 2 feet, you're stronger, you have better balance like he did right there.
Gets himself a 3-point play. Now UCF, 2 players with 3 fouls against Chad Brown now. Also Taco Fall has 2 on the bench.
And that's a good look by Griffin, and I think Johnny Dawkins is happy with the shot.
There's Smith in traffic. UCF's gone about 3 minutes with Alabama 6-1 on year. Their only loss to Minnesota in that game. I'm sure many that have followed sports will have seen Alabama when they played with 3 players for almost 11 minutes. Jones off the timeout, knocks it home.
Herbert Jones, he could shoot the 3, but man, 3-2, the pull up, that's his game right there.
A push underneath against Alabama. Gotta go against Jones.
And I really think in that game, as Minnesota sees there's 3 guys out there, Dave, they just get tighter and tighter. It's like, wow, we can't lose this thing right here.
They almost did.
It was the triangle without the 2 defense for Alabama.
UCF hasn't scored in 3 minutes, 10 seconds.
With so many perimeter guys, you have 4 switchers on defense for Alabama.
And that drought will extend at least another possession. The no look underneath to Jones. And the reverse by Ingram couldn't go.
And Dejon Ingram looking for the foul on the putback.
Alabama with an 11-point lead, largest of the afternoon on a 7-0 run.
And because Alabama could switch so many screens, it negates the offense that UCF is running.
Dante Hall gets the block and starts a fast break. That's a 3, no good by Sexton. Sexton quiet, just 2 points. Both of those came at the free throw line. He does have a couple of fouls. You surprised Coach Johnson playing Sexton, the freshman, with 2 fouls here in the first half?
With the lead they have, I think I'd let him go until the under 4 timeout. Then I would definitely get him off the floor. But
that'll break the drought.
What he has a luxury of is Ingram can go to the point and run it. Avery, his son, could go to the point and run it.
Reese follows his shot. Can't get the rebound. There's Davis. He'll kick it back out to Allen. UCF trying to find some offense, string together some baskets.
Yeah, when you see the mismatch like you have right here, drive that big guy.
Step back 3 is good from Allen, redshirt sophomore out of Upper Marlboro, Maryland.
Well, he had Alex Reese on him. Reese picked him up in transition, and that's what he needs to do. He needs to take him one-on-one.
Allen, a transfer from Drexel. Here's Reese, lost the handle.
Those big guys, sometimes tough operating in traffic. And that's what you want to see out of UCF. Try to get an easy back.
40 tallest people on the planet.
His hand length, Dave, I shook his hand before the game. His hand length is 10.5 inches.
Size 22 shoe, 8'4" wingspan. But he sits on the bench with a couple of fouls. Hall, nice pass from Riley Norris. 3-point opportunity coming up.
You know what I loved about the Alabama zone offense? Riley Norris in the middle, a guy that can make decisions. Wonderful bounce pass right there. A lot of times there's a big guy in the middle of the zone and they catch it. They're not comfortable in traffic. Riley Norris is, and a wonderful delivery from that kid. One of the few holdovers, the only holdover from Anthony Grant era.
Davis will get it to McSpadden. Approaching 5 minutes to go in the first half.
When you see zone defense, you got to make sure that, hey, we're not settling for jump shots. Alabama zone isn't in charge of UCF shot selection.
That 3 goes down. Muhammad, now the 6'5" senior, has a couple of those. UCF 5 of 8 from behind the arc.
That's the difference. That's why they're in this thing only 3 down. And that's not a team that shoots great from behind the 3-point line. Only 24% UCF coming into the game from 3s.
Petty for 3. Got it.
Boy, Alabama, really good zone offense. Inside out, the extra pass along the drift along the, and there's the steal in the 2-2-1 press.
Jones with the throwdown after the steal and a timeout by the Knights. Here Alabama leads UCF 32-24. Moomin has provided some spark off the bench for UCF with a couple of threes. But Alabama has answered a little bit of a run here by the Knights. Open it back up to 8.
Turnovers in the first half, Dave, have been problematic for UCF. 8 of them thus far.
Allen, high off the window, in and out. Norris the rebound.
Great hesitation move, which throws the defense, but he has to finish that.
Here's Sexton. Collin, 2 points. SEC's leading scorer, averaging 24 and a half a game. That won't drop.
Tough shot right there for John Petty. He can make tough shots, but I'm not sure Avery Johnson's happy with that shot.
That's swatted out of there by Dante Hall. Sexton.
Boy, tough keeping him out of the lane.
Threw it away, though. Griffin back the other way for UCF, and he collides right into Norris, whose knee buckled.
And that's the 9th turnover in the first half for UCF. Didn't look good, but
Good to be young, isn't it?
yeah.
I'm in traction, if that's me.
No question.
You don't see a lot of those in church league.
No,
We stay out of the paint in church league, right?
Absolutely. But Johnny Dawkins telling these guys, fellas, if they're good enough to beat us, fine, let's don't beat ourselves, and we're doing that right now with 9 turnovers thus far in the first half. Well, there's not a worse feeling than wondering how you're going to score when you're on the sidelines coaching. And Johnny Dawkins looking at his assistants. Where are we going to go to? Who are we going to go to get us a bucket?
3-second violation. Tony Green. And an eye on the lane. It'll give it right back to UCF. And that's exactly what Johnny Dawkins and company needed, was a stop here with 2:29 to go first half. It has been a quiet 2.5 minutes. These teams having a tough time putting it in the cylinder here in the last 2.5 minutes.
That's a really good ball screen.
And it works well as Allen knocks it home.
Terrific ball screen gets Allen right into the middle of the lane, because Hall isn't coming up on that ball screen playing it hard, Dave. He's just staying in the lane.
And a foul against UCF. That'll go against Moomin.
So Dante Hall on ball screen action is literally staying in a restricted area arc. So if it's a good screen, it can free up that dribbler like it did with Terrell Allen right there. And you mentioned it, John Petty, 30 points, 10 for 13 from threes in the Alabama A&M game, which was a Alabama record. And this guy, you talk about having winners, won 3 state championships in Alabama. Number 21 in the ESPN 100, Paul Biancardi's top incoming freshman in the country.
There's no doubt there's some talent in this freshman class at Alabama. There's another one right there. Jones can't come up with the steal. I'm going to say over and back.
Well, no, I thought Jones hit it.
And that's what Johnny Dawkins is saying, is that ball was deflected in the backcourt. And as we were talked about before the season, one of the things they're trying to clean up in that ball, did he have possession of the ball?
We have great officials right here, and Tony Green's one of them, but I disagree with that call. How about our officiating crew? Carl Hess, 6 Final Fours. Tony Green, the gentleman who just made the call, 7 Final Fours. And the young man, there's Carl Hess right there. And opposite,
Will Howard's our 3rd crew member. But yes, a lot of experience. Corner three off the mark from A.J. Davis. But McSpadden is there. And a foul against the Crimson Tide.
A.J. Davis, I mean, if he's wide open, shoot that three, but only 3 for 17 from behind the three-point line. He'd have been better served driving that ball to the basket.
So, Chance McSpadden will step to the free throw line. Sat out last year while rehabbing an injury. Had to have him back, averaging over 7 points a game, 3.5 rebounds.
And he's their best defender on the perimeter, Dave. Can really move his feet, has the size to guard bigger guards defensively. Like we said, the dynamics of this team completely changed when B.J. Taylor went down. Preseason first team all-league, averaged 17 points a game, and then Johnny Dawkins' son Aubrey has the torn labrum out for the year. So this team was picked third in the preseason American Conference,
which welcomed Wichita State in.
And if you're behind Cincinnati and Wichita State, that's pretty good. It's a different team offensively without those two guys.
Petty, little fall away, got it to go.
How about the way the freshman uses his body? Just leaned in a little bit, then the step back created space for the shot.
9 of the 10 players Alabama has used in the first half have scored. Petty leads everybody with 7. And a foul on the perimeter against Johnson.
Big emphasis this year on the cylinder, making sure you're staying in your own space. And I think Avery Jr. might have had his hand on the offensive player's hip.
That'll get Allen to the free throw line. Allen with 5 points, 3 assists. He's played every minute of the first half.
Well, he's a true point guard, and when he was at Drexel as a freshman, he started 29 games, averaged nearly 10 points, 3.5 assists per game. And he could shoot the free throw 84% from the line.
It's a 4-point game. UCF just hanging around.
And that's what they need to do.
Nice pass inside to Giddens. He knows what to do with it.
Well, Herbert Jones, his dribble drive along the baseline, lifted Giddens' man to help. And a wonderful bounce pass. I love the bounce pass when you're feeding those big guys because it leads them right into their shot.
There's about 2.5 seconds separating the shot clock and the game clock. Norris defending A.J. Davis. There's a screen up top for Davis, trying to work against Norris. He is tied up, kicks it out. 3 on the way as the shot clock horn sounds, and that'll do it for the first half. Griffin had a good look, couldn't convert.
For big guys when help comes over. And as we know, Alabama wants to play fast and in transition, but I really think the tempo in the first half was UCF's.
Held Alabama to 36. Really, both teams had substantial scoring droughts. And UCF, their big fella, 7'6", Taco Fall, only played less than half a dozen minutes in the first half because of 2 fouls.
5 minutes, and Johnny Dawkins put him down because he didn't want him to pick up a third. Boy, he missed him there.
Movement right to the basket.
He'd better finish that one because he had the big fella with the high-low. But you know what Taco did? He's so big, he screened off his defender, so there was a clear avenue for the layup.
By the way, Colin Sexton has had to change jerseys here in the second half. Number 2 is ripped as Dante Hall throws it down. So Sexton wearing number 14 here in the second half. Busted out a new jersey for the freshman.
See how Alabama can switch those screens there because they have 4 perimeter guys that could all switch 1 through 4. Davis
kicks it to Moomin already with 2 threes. You can give him 3.
Well, your body could be in help, but your mind better be with him because that's a 3-point shooter on the floor for UCF.
That is 6 3-pointers today for UCF. That is a season high in 3s. This is a team certainly with an RPI in the top 10 right now. And some weapons that can get him there.
Well, they're going to have to do the job on the defensive end of the floor, and especially guarding the three-point line.
Here's another three. Cesar de Jesus. That is 7 3-pointers, and as you said, that wide open three.
Dave, you just can't play this game with your body. You have to play it with your mind. And you know Avery Johnson and his staff is telling those guys, fellas, they come in, UCF not shooting the ball well from behind the line, but they're shooting it well today. So we have to close out hard on these guys. That's the first time we've seen the effect of Taco Fall defensively.
And it starts a fast break, and they're going to say offensive foul, and Johnny Dawkins doesn't agree with it.
Well, it starts with the block, and Taco Fall, a rim protector. We know that's what he does. It initiates the break. There's the block. It's almost like an outlet pass when this guy blocks it. There it is, the block, the run out, where Johnny wasn't happy with the call.
Sexton. Boy, is he quick on that first step. Took it right to the big fella. Let's see who gets that foul. That will be on Taco Fall. That'll be number 3. And that's what Avery Johnson wanted his players to do, and that is take it right at the big fella. Don't stop short.
You cannot fade away on a shot blocker. That's when they got it. You got to take it right to their chin, and that's what Sexton did. You know, Dave, I would say, like, good players beat their man, great players beat the man, and then the help defender. And that's what Colin Sexton could do. He's so explosive off the dribble. He can get by his guy. And then, I mean, you got one of the best shot blockers in the country. He draws the foul.
Sexton now has 4 points. They've all been at the free throw line. A quiet night for the SEC's leading scorer offensively. But, you know, he was quiet in the first half against Louisiana Tech in their last game, but exploded in the second half. Taken away by Petty. He's got Sexton, alley-oop, and there's a bump by Allen.
Yeah, when you're feeding the post, whenever throw a long pass short, and that's exactly what Moomin did on the play. The guy 7'6", throw it up there. They're fortunate, UCF.
Ingram
Nice,
to Hall.
Nice. That's a great read. When Taco Fall comes over to help, to find to his man, really good offense by Alabama.
And here's some pressure by the Tide. Davis will get it across the court. Sexton slaps it out of his hands, but it ends up right into de Jesus' hands. UCF had tied this at 38 a moment ago, and now they make it a 2-point game again, 42-40.
Good play by Johnny Dawkins. Alabama out extending their defense, vulnerable to the backdoor cut, and that's exactly what Johnny Dawkins ran.
Sexton at the elbow, short, gets his own miss, had it knocked out of his hands.
And Dave, I think every shot Sexton has missed has been short. He's got to make the adjustment in his game. Now watch when Taco comes over to block. That's a terrific find by Dazon Ingram.
Late substitution by UCF.
And Taco has 3 fouls, but he's still winding his way into condition so that he doesn't pick up a 4th. Johnny's going to give him a quick blow.
Brown checks in. He has 3 fouls as well. Dazon Ingram. Back to Norris. Shot clock at 10. Petty out of the corner, got fouled on the 3. He'll head to the free throw line, and that'll go against Cesar de Jesus.
Smart player, but a very unintelligent foul right there. Never foul a jump shooter, especially a 3-point shooter. Yeah, got him right on the elbow right there. I think what happened when he first initially lost the ball, Petty, that he was off balance when he tried to reach for it. And then to recover, that's a tough shot for him to make anyways.
You see the look on de Jesus' face. And Petty having a tough time knocking down the free throws. We told you, this is a team that came into this game shooting 63% at the line, 329th in the country. Last year they weren't much better. They were 65%, and they shot, and that was 318th in the country.
And Dave, this is a team that gets to the free throw line on average 27 times a game. And Johnny is pulling his hair out that they're getting these guys to make free throws. On game day, we would tell our guys, especially at home, you had to make 100 free throws sometime during the day. It was either you had a class that ended at 11 and it started again at 2. You need to come in and get 100 free throws on game day. Make 100.
Well, we had this issue during a timeout in the first half, but they got it fixed in a couple of minutes. Some power failure down there in that basketball stanchion area on the shot clock, as you can clearly see, is not functioning.
In Central Florida, UCF off an undefeated season in football, right? They lose their coach in Nebraska.
Hey, this would be a heck of a football game right here, right? You got these two teams together.
I would like to see that game, right?
UCF would love to be a part of that.
But Scott Frost going back home to Nebraska, where he was a part of a national championship. Not too bad. What, 7 years, $35 million, I think I read.
Gross money, just gross money. And there's still some jobs out there they're going to pay big money. You think of Tennessee, he's got a bunch of money they're willing to pay somebody.
How about Jimbo? What, 75 million, 10 years? All guaranteed. Guaranteed, all of it.
Hard to say no to that.
Yeah, I got you. But what a job Scott Frost did at UCF, right? 6-7 in 2016, goes undefeated this year. It was touching in the locker room when the players were congratulating him. They knew he was going home where he wanted to be and where he played and helped them win a national championship many years ago. But great story, and what a great job Scott Frost did at UCF.
Well, good crowd here inside Coleman Coliseum watching this one, and talk about a team that's off to a great start and very dangerous. Anytime you have Robert Williams on the floor, you got to have something going for you. But Texas A&M 7-0, a couple of really big wins, and Coach Cal, 700 wins in his career.
I'm going to tell you something. In the summer, I spent a lot of time in Lexington working John's camps and working the fantasy camp. He is, anybody that ever says Calipari's a recruiter, they're right, he is. He is a terrific coach. Dave, in the summer, they're doing individual instruction. He's doing the individual instruction. When you go to practice, he's coaching every possession in practice. I have no idea where he gets the energy.
He is 100 miles an hour. There is Tony Green on your right and Carl Hess on your left as you look at the screen there. And having some power issues on that end of the floor.
And Danny White, the AD at UCF, has done a great job of getting guys, coaches to come here. Obviously, Johnny Dawkins coming from Stanford. And the connection is Dan, the AD at UCF, his dad Kevin is the AD at Duke. The connection with Coach K and Johnny Dawkins.
And of course, brother Dan is Michael White, coaching at Florida.
I recruited Michael to Army, I think it was 1994, and I do a home visit when his dad, Kevin, is the AD at Tulane. And needless to say, we didn't get him, but he went to Ole Miss, if I could talk.
Okay, so we just got the update from Tony. They're going to turn off both shot clocks, and the PA announcer is going to announce when there's 5 seconds on the shot clock. There you go.
5. I'd want to know when there was 10. Count it down for me.
Well, scream it. Scream 10.
Yeah, absolutely.
So they're going to turn off that one down there so it won't run. The one you just saw lit up, it's going to be stuck on 0.
I think Johnny Dawkins would be happy if they just completely turned them off and we played without the shot clock. We have like a minute and a half possessions.
Petty will be at the free throw line. He has 1 free throw remaining. He got fouled on a 3-point shot. He's missed the first 2.
How can a guy that makes 10 threes in a game struggle from the free throw line?
Carl Hess now over at the scorer's table. I think he keeps looking at that clock. And they were talking about turning it off. I don't know if they can turn it off. They're just going to keep it on 0 and let's play ball.
And of course, the reason they turn both of them off, they want it to be fair for both teams. One team doesn't have the shot clock, and the other one should be as well.
Davis inside to Brown.
Well, A.J. Davis, a 4-man at 6'9", he can initiate the break, as we saw right there against the pressure, and a wonderful pass at the end of the press offense.
Dazon Ingram. Now Petty. Dante Hall back to Petty. And he threw it away. Traveling violation.
Stay on the floor. Stay on the floor, you accomplish more. He left his feet to pass, and all of a sudden, he was hung up.
You know, there are a lot of games where I wouldn't necessarily think the shot clock, the way the tempo of the game is, but with UCF on the floor, not having a shot clock and the exact time when the ball, I mean, how are you going to determine all that kind of stuff? You know what I mean? It's hard because UCF milking the clock.
And it's so important, Dave, at the end of the shot clock that guys have the ball in their hands, guys that are able to create for themselves.
And UCF has had multiple possessions where they've gotten it down inside of 5 seconds to get a shot away. That was a 10-second announcement. 5 seconds. Boy, Brown working hard. He'll go to the free throw line.
And that's a good call.
15:31 to go in the game. Alabama leads by a slim 2 points, but UCF with a chance to tie it when we come back. Coleman Coliseum, good tight ball game, 44-42. Shot clocks have been turned off. Interesting dilemma. What's going on over there?
Well, Carl Hess came over and explained to us was that the announcer's going to yell 20 seconds, 10, and then 5 seconds. The gentleman right here that we're looking at. And then the officials from 5 seconds are going to look at the game clock. The officials will make a decision whether it was a shot clock or would have been a shot clock violation or not. So once it hits 5, when we hear the PA announcer yell 5, it goes into the hands of the officials.
Still some pressure on Tony Giles over there to get it right? 10 seconds.
Absolutely,
right.
No question.
They continue to work on that shot clock, by the way, while the game's going on. So hopefully they'll get that fixed shortly.
Flex action by Alabama. It's that baseline cut.
This is the all-hair team for Alabama on the floor right now. Petty can't get it to go. Some good looks from Sexton, from Petty, Jones. Now we need to add Dazon Ingram in there, and then we really got the all-hair team.
Like we talked about, this tempo is all UCF.
Brown, he's got 3 fouls. He'll kick it out. Corner ball 3, in and out, no good, and chased down by Moomin. Boy, he could shoot it. Boy, if he'd have just looked at the iron, he might have.
You know what, though, Dave? If he would have made a better pass, sometimes the passer causes the shooter to miss the shot. Moomin's pass to the corner, not a good pass.
Giddens with the block.
Tony Green. Tony Green asking for the PA announcer. So we got 19 on the shot clock right now.
I don't know that I've ever done a game. I've done 1,000 college basketball games. I've never had one where the PA announcer's running the shot clock. And a foul on the perimeter by Riley Norris.
I don't think it matters to the kids. They hope they have the ball and they hear 5 seconds, because you know what that means? That means green light for me. I'm shooting this one.
The Norris. And the shot clock is up and operating.
There we go.
Well, Tony can take a deep breath now.
He was asking for time and a half. I saw him submit the paper there.
So that now, see, now Tony gets to go back and do his job.
Yeah,
see, the comfort zone.
Exactly.
So Allen will enter it to Davis. Son of NBA All-Star Anthony Davis goes up strong, and he will head to the free throw line. And Avery Johnson talking to his defense, arms straight up, not out.
Exactly. If your arms are straight up, you're in your own cylinder, and you don't cause the foul. And let's watch right here. No question he came down with the right arm. And you mentioned it, A.J. Davis, his dad, Antonio, 13 years in the NBA, 2001 All-Star. And how about his sister, Kayla?
Right.
Played for South Carolina, part of the national championship team last year. Terrific player. She started 35 of 36 games and 10.6 rebounds in the national championship game. Pretty good hoops family.
The Porter family, Michael Porter up in Missouri, their family, good hoopsters as well. That hoops gene didn't run in my family. Our one-on-one games in the backyard, not quite like the Davis's games.
Hey, I say I played in the NBA for 40 years, Dave.
You did?
Noontime Basketball Association. 40-year vet. In Central Florida, UCF 45-44 has taken the lead. It gets the crowd back into it a little bit.
And a tie-up. Allen now with 9 points for UCF. Lumen leads him with 11. He's 3 of 3 from behind the arc. 7 3-pointers today by UCF is a season high. Alabama just 2 of 8 from behind the arc.
And I think the good thing that UCF has done defensively is they kept Alabama out of transition, and they've done a pretty good job for the most part of keeping the basketball in front of them. Because these guards are so good off the dribble.
There's a takeaway. UCF with their first lead since it was 4-2. That'll belong to Alabama.
Really good hustle by Daniel Giddens getting back. Not many big guys at 6'11" will run the floor like that.
This UCF team loses to Missouri in their last outing, 62-59. They lost by 3 to St. John's, and Johnny Dawkins has been talking the last week about we're just 1 or 2 plays away from getting over the hump and snapping this 3-game losing streak. See if they have that in them down the stretch here.
And Dave, Giddens misses that jump hook because his shoulders went square to the basket. And you want to let that thing go about 12 o'clock, hands on the clock, high release when you're shooting that jump hook. But the biggest thing is getting your inside shoulder around to the basket.
Give the Knights a ton of credit here. They have really kept Alabama just out of their comfort zone. There's been no, this is a free-flowing Alabama team when they're at their best.
It really is, and they really haven't had any kind of flow offensively.
Avery Johnson Jr. on the floor. There's Davis guarded by Jones. Movement, they're definitely out on him.
And you're seeing them switch all those screens right there.
Allen felt the elbow, got it. That is a 3-point lead for the Knights.
Instead of Alabama trying to do too much off the dribble, let the offense create some shots for you.
Hall sets a screen. Avery Johnson out to Jones. He had it knocked out of his hands. 2-on-1 break. UCF rolling right now.
And Dave, wonderful help side defense from Terrell Allen to come in and steal that pass.
And rewarded with the dunk on the other end.
Young guys don't understand and appreciate being off the ball, help side defenders. Terrell Allen was fantastic on that defensive possession.
9-0 run. Shot clock down to 7. Jones going to have to do something with it. Tries to get it to Hall underneath. He scores the basket.
Yeah, A.J. Davis just let the guy flash in front of him. Just a little space. That was his bad defensively.
It was a 5-minute scoring drought till that basket for Alabama. Inside to Brown with a flush.
That's terrific ball screen offense right there. Allen really making his presence felt defensively and offensively as well for UCF.
Ingram misses a layup. Davis the rebound. Here's Allen. And a foul on Avery Johnson. Tied in some trouble right now. They trail by.
He's along is finding a way to get the ball in the paint against Alabama.
We saw the opening 3 shot there from Boomin, but the next 4 baskets by UCF, everybody had at least a foot in the paint.
Absolutely. And good help side defense right there by Alabama.
Griffin, Boomin, Allen, Davis, and Taco Fall on the floor for UCF. It'll be Ingram, Sexton, Johnson. It'll be Dante Hall and Jones on the floor for the Crimson Tide.
10 on the shot clock. Baseline Alabama zone with 5.
Deep 3, way off the mark by Moomin, and a shot clock violation. Ball never hit the iron.
And Dave, I would tell our guys sometimes when you're playing against a team that's a little slower, like when we would play teams that run Princeton offense or a Virginia team, I'd say, fellas, understand this, you're not getting your average. Right, so as we get in the second half, don't dip your head because I don't have mine. You understand what we're talking about? Mindset coming into the game. The tempo has been UCF's, and Alabama just has to find a way to get on a little run here offensively.
It's a great point about the mindset. Johnson. You called it, left it short. What gave it away?
He didn't have his legs into his shot. And then when he's moving right to left, he's got to bring his left shoulder around to the basket.
Alabama comes in with an RPI in the top 10. They're 4-0 at home, 6-1 overall. Ranked 24th in the country, but they have their hands full right now with the Knights. 51-46.
So how do you create offense if you're Alabama? You have to try to create it off of your defense. Let our defense initiate the runouts for our offense. Let's get deflections. Let's make sure we box so that we could run.
Sexton with 4 points for Alabama. Came in averaging almost 25 a night.
What a nice job Herbert Jones has done defensively coming from the help side. Boy, he got away with a double. No, he didn't.
Tony Green caught it.
Tough to get anything by Tony Green with 7 Final Fours on his officiating resume.
14 turnovers now by Alabama.
And you're seeing Alabama, a team that plays loose and just likes to have all of a sudden playing a little tighter right now.
Taco, 7'6" with an 8'4" wingspan. Doesn't take much to get it up there.
Well, when you throw it into the middle of the defense, Dave, that center has to come up, and smaller wings are trying to keep Taco Fall off the board.
His first basket of the game. And it's a 7-point advantage for UCF, and they have the basketball. 9:15 to play.
And here's the other thing. When you're Alabama and you don't score, you can't set up your press.
Here's Davis. Nobody there to defend him. Shot the 3, wouldn't drop. Allen back to Taco Fall underneath. He lays it up and in. Back-to-back baskets for the big fella. Up ahead to Hall the other way. He is cut. Count the basket. And he'll head to the line if he's all right.
2 great plays offensively. Taco Fall couldn't get the initial rebound, but he kept it alive and then finished on the pass. And then you love Alabama getting out and running in transition. Yeah, that's a great play offensively because Dante Hall is running the floor, and man, he is running it hard.
Moomin picked up his 3rd foul. Moomin and Allen lead UCF with 11 points each. Dante Hall leads Alabama with 13 and make it 14. Well, this young man has really been an asset for Alabama this season in his junior campaign. He's coming off 15 and 7 against Louisiana Tech. He's got 14 and 4. Davis. Offensive foul underneath.
And that's 4 on Taco. can't displace when you're posting up. He's so big that you can't extend that right arm like he did. And it's hard. He's so big. When he extends his arm, it's right in the defender's face.
That's what he's saying as he goes back to the bench. He's like,
I can't help putting my elbow in his throat.
8.5 to play. Where will Alabama go to get some offense? Could it be this guy? Sexton has yet to hit a field goal. He's 0 for 4. You know he wants it. Norris, nice ball fake. Takes it inside, in and out.
That's a great shot. I love that 3-2 from Riley Norris. But as we're seeing, it's a 5-on-5 game, and that's advantage to UCF.
To Brown underneath. Too strong. Norris bumped by Brown. That'll be 4 on him. So both big guys now have 4. We're under 8 minutes to go. UCF on the road trying to snap a 3-game skid, lead by 6.
He once saved 2 birds with 1 stone.
Scored 40 against Minnesota. He has gone double figures in every game, and as a matter of fact, he's played in 6. Missed the opener, but he has scored 20+ in 5 of the 6 games. His low point total was 10 against BYU.
And everything you hear about the young man, he's a great leader. So I haven't seen him dip his head, because leadership a lot of times is how you carry yourself, and so far he's done a good job of that.
Wide open underneath. Ovitas can't get it to go, and a traveling violation. Boy, Johnny Dawkins hot over there on that UCF bench.
Boy, you can't get an easier shot than this. That's a wonderful pass out. Petty isn't back to protect the basket.
Is Ovitas bleeding a little bit? Is that what the discussion is?
I think that's exactly what it is. Now, here's where it comes. His own guy came in and got him, Dayon Griffin. It wasn't on the shot. I mean, he just missed it. He missed the dunk. Let's keep our eye on that right there. Could have put him up 7 with an uncontested dunk right at the rim. John Petty, very fortunate. He was the safety. When you're pressing, you have 2 trappers, 2 interceptors, and a safety to protect the basket. And Petty went all out right there. He's fortunate UCF didn't convert.
Of course, when there's blood, our officials will go to the monitor to see if there was some contact above the shoulders caused the blood, but it was his own teammate. Right?
Exactly. There was. So if you're Alabama right now, and we're going to take a look at the collision here. Yeah, that was his own man, Griffin, right there. Dave, if you're Avery Johnson, I would tell my guys in this situation, we got 7.5 to go. Fellas, what we're thinking right now is really important. We just have to worry about winning the game. So our mindset and how we approach this final 7 minutes is critical to our success. I'm not sure what they could be looking at after what we saw.
He might be looking at the clock now.
It's a reset. And then they called the walk. Did the game clock keep running?
It looked like it stopped. Looked like everything stopped. Shot clock got reset.
Oh, I see. It never started there. Yeah. Well, we've had clock issues today. Thank God we got that officiating staff. These guys are experienced. Tony Green, 7 Final Fours. Carl Hess with the basketball, 6 Final Fours. I would keep running ball screen action for Colin Sexton. He's your guy. Put it in his hands. Let him make the decisions.
Here's Dazon Ingram. Riley Norris now. Dante Hall, free throw line extended in. Get it to Sexton. Shot clock down to 7 again. Norris, free throw line. Off the back of the rim. Loose ball, scrambles for it, and they're going to call a foul on Norris as he trips up Allen. That'll be the second on Riley.
UCF really good defensively in the half court. Terrific help defenders. They close out hard. Being good defensively is understanding how you close out space between yourself and the offensive player.
Look, this UCF team gave up 61 points a game last year. That was 6th best in the country.
And they were #1 in the country last year, Dave. Field goal percentage defense. And the surprising thing here, they're playing outstanding defense today. And most of the time, Taco hasn't been on the floor.
He sits down with 4 fouls. Here's Davis. He takes it into the lane, and he'll drag that pivot foot.
And you're seeing A.J. Davis, who could play positions 1 through 5, at times brings the ball up the floor and could create. But when you get into the lane, you need to sit down. In other words, jump stop on 2 feet so you don't walk like he did.
Petty up high to Dante Hall. Dante was 16.
Now, you're not making that pass if Taco falls in there.
3-point game. Closing in on 6 minutes to go.
Johnny's trying to get a timeout. He'll get you down the walkway. Boy, what a terrific young guy he is as well.
His morning walk.
Yeah. My mom is on that morning walk sometimes. Dante was on his Sunday morning walk.
And a foul against Alabama underneath. That'll go against Sexton. And that'll be his 3rd now.
Now, if you're Colin Sexton, the coaches are telling him, listen, adversity, here it is. Now, how you going to handle it? Just find a way to get us over the hump in this one.
Free throw is good by Allen. You know, I asked him about that 3-man game against Minnesota. I said, what do you take away from that? He says, just trying to overcome adversity. I mean, it's really as simple as that. It wasn't the kind of basketball you're ever going to play again. And that's the takeaway. And they're in that situation now with some adversity. Can they rely on that? Ingram, he's been quiet. Got spun out. And Central UCF, I should say, gets the basketball up 4 with 5:50 to go. Bama only scored 16 points to this point in the half.
And like we said, when you're playing a team like UCF that controls tempo, that's what's going to happen. And they're outstanding defensively as well.
The scoop shot by Allen.
What a second half Terrell Allen is having. Not just on the offensive end, but the defensive end as well. How many big games has Allen played in when he was at DeMatha?
Oh my goodness, Dante Hall spinning, twirling, slams it down with one hand.
And our cameraman took a charge on that one.
Here's Allen back the other way. Griffin thought about the 3 inside, dumps it off underneath to Brown. Got him in a tight situation. Sexton behind the back, no look corner ball. Petty.
We said Colin Sexton, he might not have to score the ball, but he just made. You don't have to score yourself. I used to say about Chris Paul, he does what the game tells him to do. Don't make your mind up. This kid did what the game told him to do those last 2 possessions.
Here's Allen. UCF still with a 1-point lead, 4.5 to play. He is tied up. Gets it to Davis. Shot clock at 5. Davis stops to Taco Hall. Fall able to just drop that in over the cylinder.
It's amazing how big he is, and if he catches it in the lane, it's like he's on one of them little Nerf baskets for us.
That's a good way to describe it. Sexton. He is bumped by Davis.
And what you're seeing, Dave, is they're having Hall set that screen and putting Taco Fall in that ball screen action, making him guard that dribbler when he comes off. Now, we got to remember, Taco Fall has 4 fouls, so go at him, be aggressive, put foul pressure on him.
He's only played 11 minutes this afternoon, has Taco Fall. 6 points, 3 of 3 from the field. Here is Sexton at the free throw line, and he gets that one to go. Sexton on the year, 70%. 42 out of 60.
And down the stretch against Louisiana Tech, this team in white made free throws, 13 in a row.
Left it short, tapped around. It'll belong to Alabama.
Boy, Darnie Dawkins upset with that. Cardinals saying you have to box out on the free throw to get the guy's right behind you. Put your tail in there and drive him out. Good call by Tony Green.
Petty. Air ball. It'll be UCF basketball. They lead by 2 on the road here in Tuscaloosa. Back in a moment. Alabama at 36% shooting in the second half.
And for the most part, kept them out of transition, made it a 5-on-5 game, and UCF is tough to beat in the half-court 5-on-5.
Knights with the basketball. 3:45 to play. They trailed by 6 at halftime, 36-30. Taco Fall trying to post up, can't get it to him. Allen down the lane, little twist on his reverse layup.
He has been the difference in the second half for Central Florida.
A sophomore transfer out of Drexel. Allen was 16. He had a season-high 12 against Gardner-Webb. He shattered that here this afternoon. Here's Dazon Ingram. No-look pass. Underneath. Hall off the backboard. Dante Hall with a new career high of 20.
Changed his point of release a little on the shot to get it around Taco Fall. Going zone again.
In the corner, Allen. Whistle underneath. 3 seconds again against UCF. Second time we've seen that call today.
I'll tell you, all the games I've done this year, I'm lucky if I see 1 3-second in a game. We have 2 in this one thus far.
2.5 to play.
Now they put Taco Fall in ball screen again.
Sexton working on the 7'6" center. Petty for 3. No good. Rebound Davis, who now has 7 rebounds to go along with 6 assists and 5 points.
But Avery Johnson's happy with the shot, Dave.
And a foul. Offensive foul against Allen.
I think he said he cleared out.
Hey, tonight, Scott Van Pelt hosts Sports Center at night with an in-depth look at the college football playoff matchups. It's also a huge day of NFL action, and Scott will also have the immediate reactions from Seattle. And the Eagles clash with the Seahawks tonight. That's all coming up. Sports Center at midnight on ESPN.
Well, you were happy with the Falcons handling the Minnesota defense,
Yeah,
right?
that didn't work out very well. 14-9, Vikings take down the Falcons. And And a push that gets moving.
Well, one of the challenges for Newman is his lateral quickness, especially with these Alabama guards. I would tell guys, hey, listen, you're going to play against guys that are quicker than you. That's not a sin. The sin is not recognizing. In other words, give him enough space where you're arm's length away, but keep the ball in front of you.
Petty getting a massage, or Jones getting a massage from Petty to try to loosen him up at the free throw line.
I don't know if that's good if you miss one and you get a massage.
Well, we'll see if it pays off here. A freshman from Greensboro, Alabama, off the back of the rim, and Allen's there for the rebound, but Sexton tried to steal it. Scramble.
See, Sexton's making his impact on this game, not from scoring, but the 2 assists. Hustle on the floor here. Well, intangibles are what separate the great ones from the good ones. And that's at times getting on the floor, taking charges. Hustle by Sexton right there with the deflection. He and Ingram both on the floor for Alabama.
UCF will get the ball on that tie-up, so the arrow will flip with 1:31 to go after they inbound the basketball. 26, they're going to reset the shot clock to 30 now.
Terrell Allen, every minute of this game, and he's been carrying these guards in his back pocket all game long, number 2 in black.
16 points for Allen, 5 rebounds and 7 assists. You said if UCF can keep this in the 60s, they got a chance to win. That's the story now. Allen, too strong. He's going to have to get the shot off and never hit the rim.
Petty's fortunate. He did not box out Newman.
3rd shot clock violation by UCF. Timeout Alabama. 1:01 to play. Down. He is 0 for 4 from the field. He sits there with 5 points because he's 5 of 6 at the line. They'll let Jones bring it up.
Now, Avery Johnson, NBA coach, could go 2 for 1 here if he wants.
Sexton, right to the big fella. He draws the foul. Took it right to the 7'6" Taco Fall. And that will be it for the big fella.
And that's a great decision. Put it in your best player's hands. I really like that. If you're going to make an error, let's be aggressive. Man, was he aggressive on this take. There's no fading on that one right there. He took it right to the big fella's chin.
Well, Chad Brown will check in.
5 for 6 at the line thus far for Sexton.
Perfect on that one.
I'm watching tape of him, and when he gets the ball, Dave, he looks like he's looking right under the basket. Keep your eye on the rim. Let's watch. Now he starts to just look up. Hey, you know what? It's working for him now.
All of his points have been at the line. Crowd on their feet at Coleman Coliseum with 40 seconds to play in a tie ball game.
Johnny Dawkins has 1 timeout if he wants to use it. If you're Alabama, make sure you box out.
Davis to the basket. Offensive foul against UCF. Well, there may be it. Let's see what the call is here.
I think he's in a restricted area arc. His heel, his left foot, I believe.
And that's what they're going to the monitors to check right now. Right.
Absolutely. And you're allowed to review that now. I think he's clearly, his left foot was in the arc. And then the other thing we'll look at too is where we were with respect to the clock. Shot fake. It's not even close. His left foot is in the arc. Boy, we've had a lot of huddles today from the guys in the stripes.
Getting an update right now. So see, restricted area can be reviewed under 2 minutes. That's our situation.
Absolutely. What they said, the official said, restricted area, you're right, Dave. Under 2 minutes you can review. And under 2 minutes you can review. And now he was in the restricted area arc like we saw on the replay. So A.J. Davis gets to go to the free throw line and shoot 2 right now. New rule this year.
So Davis at the free throw line, a 67% foul shooter on the year, and thanks that one off the back of the rim.
Now, if you're Alabama, you're telling your guys, fellas, don't assume anything. We got to box out on the free throw right here.
UCF's out-rebounded Bama by 10. So UCF with a 1-point lead, 24 seconds to go.
Alabama with 1 timeout, and they do have the possession arrow.
Ingram tried to get it to Hall, slopped out of there. Griffin lays it up and in. 3-point game with 11 seconds to go. Sexton.
Know what you need.
With 2.8 seconds, a timeout by...
Keep your eye on number 23 on that right block for Alabama.
Riley Norris will trigger it in.
And watch for Central Florida to switch all screens here.
Here's Petty in the corner, elevates, shot on the way, no good, and that'll do it. UCF will get out of Tuscaloosa with a victory.